Oh, good evening. Welcome to my final show from Gen Con Day 4. Final loot day. Things were winding down. We got some really good deals. We sort of had a bit of a haul. Just want to go through what we got real quick. We're all pretty tired. We're going to call it quits for the long ride home. So I'll start over here. I was able to pick up Final Days, which is a miniature skirmish game. They use metal minis. This is a $50 game, and we got it for $20 today. So that was probably one of my best finds. And he threw in one of the free comic books because they were out of the promo one. So he's just like, "Oh, here, have one of these." I was like, "Sweet." I went over to the Ayala booth. I was able to find King of Monster Island. They were having discounts on that. That's normally a $70 game. I got it for $50, so that's pretty good. At that booth, I found this for $8. It's a small box game, so I was like, what the heck, I'll try it. And then I found Dungeon Fighter, which has been talked about a lot before by a lot of people. It's an older game, but it was on sale for just $20, so I grabbed that too. Alright, I went over to the Keymaster booth, and I played Parks. And he had the expansions, they had this great big deal, and I mean, it was awesome. But it was a lot of money. And then the guy said, "Oh, Trails is a smaller version for $5. And the reason I opened this, the designer signed my game for me. So I thought that was a really good deal. I may do Parks at one point in time, but I couldn't fit it all in the bag anyway. Then I went over, one of the game companies was doing a thing where if you buy two games, you got one free. Well, I went over, this picture kept drawing me back. I love dragons. So I went over, and today I play tested this. It was so much fun. So I was like, well, my wife likes gnomes, so I'll grab a gnome game because we always want to keep the wives happy, right? And then Skull King, I've heard only good things about. My kids like pirates, so I was like, all right, I'll do this. And he said, hey, it's the last day of the con, so you can get, if you buy 5 games, you get 2 for free. So I added 2 more games. We got Antiquity Quest, which is all about Egypt. It's still it's numbers game. It's trying to do set collections, but I love the theme. So I was like, what the heck? It's a almost free game. And then I got Trolls and Trouble to play with my kids. What helped me decide which ones to get? These were all the 2 and more player games instead of having to have 3, so that at least I could play with my oldest son. Oh, and when I got these, they gave me the new 2-player rules for Realms of Dragons, because this one Reign of Dragons did not used to be 2 players, 3 to 8. And this lets you play a 2 to 4 version. So I really like that. I got some extra dice for Talisman. I was told that the Talisman sets, you need 3 dice to play. So he gave me 2 sets. I was able to finish off my Hero Quest dice today. And then I went over to I picked up the Epic Encounter sets, the 2 new ones. He gave me quite a discount on these because, again, it was the last day of the con. So then there was things like these. I went over to Everything Epic because I want to get Secrets of the Lost Tomb, and I was able to get the card from today and the card from Thursday that I missed. This was a card from yesterday that I think I forgot to show you. The Catan booth was giving out pins. There were guys with their resources on their heads handing them out, and you had to ask other people to trade pins. And once you got the first 5, you got a secret pin, which was the the thief sheep down here. And the rock was the hardest to find. I had to ask, 30, 40 people before I was able to get some rocks. This, I didn't grab it because I was interested in the game so much as this is Jerry Hawthorne's signature. For those who don't know, he's the guy who designed Mice and Mystics for Plaid Hat Games. So I was at their booth and I met him. It was awe-inspiring to get to meet somebody whose stuff that you really like. Mice and Mystics was really hard for me to get. That he was a big part of HeroScape, the old days of HeroScape. I mean, there's a mini called Sir Hawthorne based off of him. So I was able to get a signature, which I think was really cool. Burn the Fort. This is a Native American history game that unfortunately sold out. So we could pre-order here. We didn't even get to play test it, but we did get to see pieces of it, and the components are incredibly well done. Finally, as I was walking by, a guy grabbed me and showed me what he had going for Mythlords, the classic monster deck building game. Now, you know, one of my favorite co-op games is Horrified. We love the movie monsters. And they're gonna have minis for the for the movie monsters that are gonna be your captains during this deck building game. And he showed it to me, and I was like, "This is awesome!" So he gave me the Kickstarter information. I got to see the prototype, but it wasn't ready to play, so I had to grab one of those. This big die, the last thing here on the table. Oh, actually, no, there's more in the front. Okay, so the went by a table. The guy was like, roll for prizes, roll for prizes. So I went to see what it was. He's like, roll this die. So I rolled the die, and when I did better than this, and he rolled a die, and his die was lower than mine. So he said, oh, you win a die. And so I was like, well, that's cool. So, I mean, who doesn't need a big, poofy sponge six-sider, right? Over here, in the adult game section, they were giving out cards for Fork, Milk, Kidnap, which is an adult game done by Hasbro, and then this other one is Truth or Drink, another adult game done by Hasbro. They were giving out booster packs. I got one of each, and they're next to the booster pack for the new Code Signed Pictures, and or Codenames Pictures. I like the Codenames brand. I like the Codenames games. If I ever buy pictures, that helps to make it from a 4x5 grid to a 5x5 grid. Finally, I got a Gen Con cup today. On the way out of the con, I stopped to get some pizza, and they were actually sold out of pepperoni pizza, so I got sticks in a cup. So I have my Gen Con collector's cup without having to spend big money on the official one. That is all. We'll start doing unboxings and hopefully some playthroughs of some of these games once I get home. We got a long trip tomorrow still, but we'll be signing off for this evening. From the Men in the Cave, have a good night.